I wanted to ask to agree. You can write on your chat where to begin from, because you are different classes and you've done different topics, yeah? So I want us to agree, where do we begin? Which topic should we begin from? I was thinking we begin from structures, because I believe everybody was at structures. You can type on the chat. Let's use the chat for communicating. So can I get your views? Where do we begin from? Somebody is saying arrays, somebody else is saying files. So can we have more people? Nelias is talking about searching.
Excuse me, sir.
Right, please. Everybody cannot talk. I want to finish what we had not done. So I want to know which class ndio ilikuwa nyuma sana. Tuanzie hapo tumalize. Then we can repeat all what is necessary. Searching, some people are talking about traversal. Anybody else? Those are the views that tuko nazo peke yao. Wengine wote wako sawa tu with anything. Hana, that is last term's work, January. Tuwezi enda mpaka January tena tuanze. But we will do revision. So let me start with the structures. Then from there we can continue. We do structures, we do files. Then we can begin maybe from procedures that tumalizane hizo zingine. So today we'll talk about C, not Pascal, as Fanuel is suggesting. Then we will do Pascal if you have not done by other teachers. As you know, we are supposed to teach you several teachers. So I don't know where the rest are, but let me begin from structures today. Then we can be able to harmonize and then continue. We will repeat. We can repeat from procedures onwards later. I believe you are okay. I believe that is a good consensus and you are okay with that. Can I get a yes somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Some people are still joining. We are 31 now. But kuna wale wanaruka nje, wanarudi ndani. Probably it is the system. So let me just look at the notes so that we can be able to begin. I hope you can be able to see my screen. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
You are seeing my notes, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah. So I want us to go through those notes so that we can see something on structures. So structures of data structures or categories of data structures. We say that they are those data structures that have one data type, and there are those data structures that have that can accommodate different data types. This kind of data structures in C, we call them structures, while in Pascal, we call them records. So you talk about records in Pascal, and you talk about structures in C programming. So you are saying ordinary variables can hold one piece of information, like arrays. Yeah, they can hold a number of information, but are able to hold different data types, such as string, price, and all that. Several. For example, we are giving a good example. We are saying if you want to store data about a book, you store the author, which is, you start by the title, which is a string. You have the author, which is also another string. You have the price is float, and the number of pages, probably that's an integer. So if you want to store data about a book, you have to get a structure that can do that. And the best is a structure. As we can see, in a structure, we have the general format, the syntax. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about the syntax. In my notes, I'm referring to them as general format. As you can see here, the general format. So the format here, I'm talking about the structure name. Then each structure has some members, several members. That's why I'm saying member type, member 1, member type, member 2. These are the individual members of that particular structure. And you can be as many as possible, such that we require struct is the key name, which must be there. Structure name is a name that is an identifier provided by the programmer. Then you choose the individual items for that particular. The members' names within a particular structure must be distinct from one another. That is, they should be different. Do not use the same twice. Do not use the same variable twice, as what is meaning by that. Then we are saying that once the composition of the structure has been defined, individual structure like variables can be declared as follows. Define data type. Then once you are through, you also come and define it later, now with a variable. The best way is to see an example. If you can see my example on your screen, we are talking about a book as the structure. A book has the chart, curve. Then we have the character being the title. So it is a string of 15. Remember, starting from 0. So those are 16 characters. Those are 16 characters. Then I can see we have the author, 26 characters. Float is the price because it has a decimal point. Then pages. So book is the structure. Then these are the members of book. And you can see from the diagram, we are saying the structure name is the book. Then it has the title, it has the author, it has the price, and it has the pages. Since they are of different data types, then the structure becomes better. Then after declaring that particular structure, you come forward and declare the book now. Remember, this is what has been declared at earlier stage. So those who are joining us, welcome. We are continuing with our lesson, and we are talking about structures. We are in the process of defining what is a structure, giving a syntax of that. So maybe I can just, for the benefit, that this is how you declare a structure. Struct is a name that has been, is a key name. Structure name is what you provide as the programmer. Then the member type are the individual members of that particular structure. Remember, structure is able to hold different data types, and they can be able to continue depending on how big it is. So we have said that an example is the book. A book has a title, an author, price, and pages. Collectively, we are referring to it as the book. But inside the book, we have the title, the author, the price, and the pages. We are saying in a diagram, this is how it looks like. The book, then we have the title, the author, the price, and also the pages. These are the different books that you can hold. Then I'm saying once you declare it, you come and declare as a variable, like that structure, book that you have defined up there. Then you have book 1, book 2, and there can be many. So book 1 is a member of book. Book 2 is a member of the book. I can add others and say book 3, and there can be many. So that whenever I'm using book 1, book 2, book 3 are all referred to as the book, and they will have those variables. So you can see, for example, structure book has title, author, price. Then book 1 and book 2 are here as variables for book. So that in the course of the program, I'll be using book 1 and book 2 to refer to the individual data items in that book. I hope we are getting, are we okay? Anything you want, please just communicate through the chat. If you are not okay, let me know. Somebody is talking about fonts. Okay, so phone so that you can be able to read. When you have some gadgets, they may not be able to be well. So thank you for that, so that you can be able to you are able to see. I hope that is better now. Oh yes, so that's okay. Yeah, so this is a very good example of a structure. Book here is the one that we are using as the name of the structure. Then you have the title, the author, the price, and the pages. So these are the members of the book. And in a diagram, we can be able to see that. We have said that. So we were here talking about now you declare different data types like that. Book 1, book 2, book 3, which are variables of the book. That's what you need to know. So I'm saying an example here is a good example. We are saying the book has the title, the author, the price, and the pages. But in the program, we'll be using book 1, book 2 as the variables in the course of the program. That's what you need to know. Another example would be this one. I have two structures, one to hold the date. The date has the month, the day, and the year as the structure. Then I've declared another structure called account, presents this date here. This date represents this so that it can hold the month, the day, and the year. So that's a good example of how you declare a structure within another structure. So date here is a structure. You can see it. Coming here, it is also another, using now the structure within another structure. So using the dates here, I can get the date here as well, but my variable will be the last payment. So you can use a structure within another structure very well, as you can see. You can use a structure within another structure, as I have illustrated. Then I have an account, which is the name of the structure. That name of the structure, I've declared now customer as a structure account holding up to 101 customers. So this is an array of a structure that can hold up to 101 as the number of characters or the number of records in that particular file. If you have a question, please just write, and that will be okay. Yeah, so far so good. We can initialize a structure. Each individual member in a structure can be assigned a corresponding set of initial values, as shown in this example. You can have some values, like we can see the structure of date is here. Probably I can take that to the new page. I want you to look at this more clearly. Looking at this example, I have date as a structure. Yeah, in the date we have the name, the month, the day, and the year. So I initialize them like that. Amy is the name, 12 is the month, 30 is the day, and 73 is the year. So all this I've done the initialization. To initialize is to put some data into a structure during the time of declaration. At that time, when you are declaring and you want some data to be inside that structure, the same thing we did with the arrays, you can have it that way. That means initialize. So all this is initializing, putting some data into the structure at the time of declaring. So if somebody talks about that, that's what you need to know and be able to follow it that way. In this example, birthday is an array of structures whose size is unspecified. When you declare an array without saying how many numbers, then that becomes unspecified in nature. So it means that it can take any size depending on the values. The initial values will define the size of the array and the amount of memory required to store the array. So if you don't know how many characters or how many records you have in an array, you can declare it without showing the size, just like the birthday. You can see the birthday has no size, but it will be defined by what we have initialized. So in this case, our array will automatically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Amy, Gail, Mark, Mary, and Susan. So the computer will automatically allocate 4 as the number, because we are starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes it 5 numbers. So the computer will automatically give it size 5, like that. There some people are still coming to class. Hey, so wamechelewa sana. Those guys are very late, but it's okay. So that's what we are saying. Another example, we can have a book as a structure. Let me push it here so that you can see it well. Then we can initialize it this way. So my structure is called a book. Okay. This book has some name, that's price and pages. So you can see my declaration here, my initialization, sorry. I've initialized after declaring. So B1 is basic, 230 shillings, and it has 589 pages. For book B2, for book 2, it is ICT. It has, you buy it at 4,500, and it has 5,276 pages. That is the size of that particular book as we initialize. So you can initialize this way. That is still initializing. And you can initialize it this way. So depending on what you think is best, you can choose one of those methods. So if you ask a question, can you show by example how to initialize a structure? That is what you can do. And it will be okay. So that is initializing. You can do this, and you can do this. Whichever that is fit for you, you can choose. Note that if the structure variables are declared and initialized inside a function, the storage class must be static. When we talk about the storage class, here we talk about the kind of structure you are using. We will talk much about classes in your year 2 in what is called object-oriented, or whoever will be doing that. We can be able to continue. I hope you are getting something out of this.
Yes, sir.
Good. That's fine. Let's move forward. Remember that when you are doing this, we also need to know how to accessing structure elements. That's very important. Let's see how we go about that. Members of a structure are usually processed individually as separate entities. Hence, we must be able to access individual structure members. A structure can be accessed by what we call a dot operator. You access using the dot operator, which is very important to know that. This format of the structure is, as you can see, it's here. We use the name, the structure type variable name, dot, the member. Remember, you can recall, I don't know whether you can recall, that the dot operator is the highest when you talk about precedence group. So it is the one that is the one the computer operates or be able to perform first when we have several of them. So for example, in our example, when we consider example 2 above, the one that we have just done, when we consider this example above, B1, B2, for you to access the name or the price or the page, then you must use B1 dot the name. That's why you can see down here, we are saying that for you to access the price, then we must be able to say B1 dot price. We have to say B1 dot name using the above example. So you can be able to access each and every individual data item by simply using the dot operator, which is very important. I hope that is okay. There is something here that you need to know, that if it is a sub-member, a structure within another structure. That's what I mean by sub-member, a structure within another structure. For example, the first one here, when we had these two, for me to get the day, for me to get the month or the year, I'll use 2 dots. I will use several. That's why you can see the last payment here is a member of account, but is a member of the date, and the date has several. And that's why down here in this example, we are saying that for you to use that, it requires this. But you not need to get, because that one is important at a higher level. Our syllabus, we don't go into all that, but it's not bad to know. So for example, this is a good example of a program and what it can be able to do. But here, this example is just purely for illustration purposes. So don't be surprised the way it is. I have employee as the structure. It has a name, an age, and some salary. Okay, so let me remove some things that are giving us some problem. So I have declared an employee and I've initialized Peter 30, and this guy is earning 23,000. Kama hiyo inatosha pesa ya kulisha familia kama yangu. But that is what this guy is earning. And he's a young man of 30 years old. Then we have also another declaration. We have E2 and E3, which has not been initialized, so it is empty. This is just copying. You should not worry about this statement. That is copying a name from one structure to another. I'm copying a name from E1, taking it to E2. So that is one of the inbuilt functions that can be able to copy. Here I'm also trying to do what is called assignment. I'm assigning the age, that is 30, from E1, so that it can also go to E2, and the same with the salary. So this is an assignment that we are doing. That is an assignment. And here we are copying using an inbuilt kind of a structure called string copy that can be able to duplicate from one structure to another structure. Then here I'm outputting. This is an output. You are outputting what you have just initialized and assigned. Remember, this is initializing and this is assigning. You should be able to get those two differences very clearly. You can use that in case. Yeah, I hope that's okay. Any question? Douglas, now you're asking another question and you're learning bwana. Nataka tufanye namna gani? You're asking an output of a program. So Douglas, maybe we'll answer you, but let me see what we are doing first of all. because you are distracting so that I start now answering questions. I want a question we related to what we are doing, but that one I'll answer you later. So I'm talking now on array. You can also declare a structure as an array so that it can be able to store several items. In this example, I have a structure called a book, and I've declared B as an array of 11. So in other words, we are saying we'll have 11 names, then you have prices that are 11 and also different pages as 11. As you can see from this example, when entering data into an array, preferably you'll use a kind of for statement, a repetitive control structure or iterative, so that we can iterate and be able to display, to input all the values. So what I want you to see is this clearly, that when you are accessing a particular item, then you must show the size or the location in the array where you are storing that item. So for example here, B dot, in brackets I for the location and then the name. So this part of the program will be repeated. This part of the program will be repeated 0 to 9. Yeah, although my array is up to 11, if you want the whole array to be used, you can have a 11 so that it can repeat, not 11, sorry, 10. So that's 0 up to 10, that will be 11 names and prices and also pages. Then down here, we are outputting. This is the output. This is the output. That is the output. I've decided in these notes we have put on one page, or one line, sorry. You can do it that way, on one line, so that I have C for the name, the placeholders. C holds the name, F for the price, and D for the pages, which corresponds to the different data types. I hope that is okay. This is just trying to explain that. Any question, please? Wango is asking, is there any way to output this program? Hey, I don't know. Hey, how watu wanataka tu tufanye what they want us to do, but not the rest. If you have this program, you can output. It has a printf. I don't know if everybody is seeing what Nyabera has put on the chat. But anyway, let's look at it. Alternatively, you can just run the program and you see it will be the output. Because the program simply is trying to assign I to 6, and also city is assigned as channel, so that when you output, it will not output, by the way, because it has, it will output the city, channel, and output 6. I think that is the output. So the output here will be 6. First of all, should be channel, I believe so. And then we shall also have 6 as output, because you are simply assigned 6 and channel, or channel, I don't know how to pronounce it. So it will simply output that word channel and output 6. That's how I'm seeing it. But you can alternatively run it and see how it will be able to give. Any other question? If there's no question, I believe we have done something on structures, and I believe it has helped you to that extent. These notes have so many other notes down here, and passing structures, elements to functions. I don't want to go into that. I just want to reach where I have done this so far, so that we can have done something on structures, so that we don't go into all the rest. Any question, any observation? If people are okay, we can stop there, or we can do something in Pascal. I believe I want to stop there. Online classes are not supposed to be very long because of
We
what.
can do something in Pascal.
Yeah, come up
We
again.
can do something in Pascal.
Can do something in Pascal.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can look at the records in Pascal kidogo, then we stop there. So you can also see, I don't know whether you are able to see this note as well. It's also very short, so there's no problem. You can just look at it, understand a few things, alafu tuachie pale. Niambieni kama mnaziona.
Ziko sawa.
Good. Okay, so in Pascal, we call structures the name records. So you say a record can be defined as a group of fields made up of different data items or data types. So we refer to a record as a collection of heterogeneous, that is different types of data grouped together, where you entirely refer to them as a record. Each member or individual components, we refer to them as fields or members. So you are saying just like in C, we use the name record as the keyword, then we give it an, this is the name of the record, an identifier where the person who is doing it, you as the programmer, you will provide this one here, but record is a reserved word. Okay, so each field, one, field 2, will have a name and a type. These are members of the record. For example, here, a good example would be this. Customer is a record made up of integer, character, and real. So a customer has a customer number, has a customer type, and customer balance. So they are individual members of the customer. So it can also be declared using a type definition. I know many people have forgotten on user-defined data type, and I think I'll be able to come up with one lesson that will be able to give more explanation on that. But here we can be able to see that when you use type definition, we have the record name equals to the record. You must use the word type because type is used for user-defined data type. So for example, when you say account is a record, but you have used type here, it means that you declare it upper than the variable section. You declare it at the type definition section. Remember, Pascal, the definition or the declaration has a very clear way. You start up from the constant as you come down. In fact, you start from the label. If you go back to your notes, when you are declaring variables in Pascal, they have to have a particular order. That's why we are saying it has to have above the character. So for example, here, account is a record made up of the integer, made up of the integer as the customer number, character as the customer type, and real as the balance. Then I come down in the declaration and I'll put it this way. Okay, so this customer here is of type account, and account is made up of an integer, character, and real. So those are different data types put together, combined to be referred to using a single name. That's the genesis of what a record is all about. So we are saying that individual fields can be associated with each defined types as well as standard data types. You can see this one. This is now more, it's now a bit bigger, and I can show you that we have status, which can be current, overdue, or delinquent as a user-defined data type. These are members. Remember, you have subrange and enumerated as different data types. I said I know people have forgotten much about data types. The user-defined data type I'll have a lesson on that so that you can be able to know. But it is just a preview. This is what we call an enumerated data type, current, overdue, and delinquent status. Then you have the customer number as integer, customer type as character, then customer status as status. So status here means it can be current, it can be overdue, or it can be delinquent, depending. Then you have the real. Then once you finish, you come and declare it this way as a variable now in the variable section. So this must be done in the variable section so that you can be able to see. So this is the type section, and this is the what we are referring to as the variable section. So that a customer is made up of account, and account is made up of the customer name, customer number, customer type, status, so the balance. So that is how we can declare. So the same thing can be declared here. Is that the same example? I don't want to go into that. I hope that is clear on declaration. Once you know how to declare, we go to processing. Any question? So somebody asking, please handle question 2, July 2019 after the lesson to help us understand. I don't have the question paper, Douglas. Maybe you can type the question there, or I don't know, how do I get it? How do I get the question? I don't have the question papers here. But if the question on the chat, I can be able to answer depending on the question. Okay, so if you try to give me the question, then we'll be able to look at it. But I believe we have now known how to declare. Then once you declare, you can do the processing of a record. It is possible to assign a record to another record in the course of working using this example. So if customer is a record and regular is a record, you can assign them this. That is correct. That's what it means. As long as both are records, then this will be okay. When processing a field, the general format is the variable name dot. Here you can also see we are using the dot operator just like in C, so that when you are reading read line customer dot customer number, or we are saying customer dot customer number equals to that. So you must always refer to that as. Okay, you must refer always using the dot operator. Customer dot customer number, customer dot customer number, like that. So if this is our record, we are using this, probably the one that we had earlier. So we shall have customer dot their customer number, customer dot customer type, customer dot customer status, and also customer dot balance. So that is how you look at it when you are processing, so that whether you are assigning or whether you are inputting or outputting, then the dot operator must be there. To avoid the use of the dot operator, many times we have what we call the with structure. So the with structure also helps us so that you don't keep writing what we are referring to as the field designator, so that we avoid that. For example, in this question, we are saying the date, this declaration, we have the month, the day, and the year. As a record, we refer to as date. So you are saying with date, you can have that birthday. So month, so I've written with birthday due. Dot month equals to 5, days equals 13, and the year equals 1996. So you can see here, I've reused this birth several times. So birthday, that, birthday day, Birthday, 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 3 times. But here I've just said birthday alone. So that's the meaning of the use of the with operator, so that you don't repeat the name several times. So you can see this and this are the same. This and this are the same. Here I've used birthday several times, but here I've said with birthday, then I use the dot operator like that. So that's the difference you can be able to see. If you want to use it, you can do that. If you want to output with birthday, this is also an output like that. I hope that is okay. I hope we are okay. We are now 41. People are disappearing pole pole. Sijui ni kuchoka, but we are just about to finish. So lastly, when we talk about arrays, you can also declare a record as an array, just the same way we are done in class. And you are saying, for example, this is a good example. Record is type of account. It has those 3. Then we say customer is an array from 1 to 100 of accounts. So that's the declaration of an array. So you will have 100 customer names, 100 numbers, and also 100 balance. And you can use this as a way of processing that, so that you have 1 up to 100. What I need you to take note, just like in the other one, take note of that clearly, that when you talk about customer in square brackets, the location, dot, the variable where it is. So that one is a good example, and you can be able to enter all the 100 of them. Please don't write that program 100, utatype mara mingi, but don't overdo that. I hope that is fine, and it is so explanatory. You can also use the with structure to do the same thing. It is just purely the same. You can look at this and look at the other previous example, and you realize that it's the same thing, but here we have used the with structure. And this is the entire program on that. I'll send you this note, and you can be able to see what we have done. So I believe that's the end of my notes and the lesson. So if you have any question, please ask. And if you are okay, we can stop there. Class rep, ongea na mimi kidogo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we have gone through that.
Yes.
So we can stop there. If somebody else has a question, I will listen.
Yes.
Members, any question?
No question.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming. And next time we arrange for the next lesson, and I'll have sent you the notes in advance so that you can be able to read through before and we go through them. So we'll finish up the files in the next lesson, then we can embark on revision on some areas like what people have suggested, so that we can be able to finish. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day.